I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, March the 6th, brought to you in part by Cargill RNM, or Right Now Mineral. Grass changes with the seasons, shouldn't your mineral? Right Now Minerals are formulated to allow you to match the mineral feeding program with the growing seasons, forage conditions, and nutritional needs of your cattle. Learn more at rightnowmineral.com. Despite the miserable cold weather that we continue to have in the winter that won't quit, this calf market is starting to heat up. I'm talking about your lightweight stockers, and I've got some calf quotes that are going to impress here later on in the talk. But let's look at the board on Tuesday. Your April live cattle futures up 47 cents at 128.82. June was up just a nickel at 119.85. March feeder cattle down 32 cents at 140.87. April was down 62 at 144.40. Your open interest is huge. That means a lot of people are playing the game, and it's heavy with invested money, money managers, funds, things like that in there. And that is a little bit scary because they won't hang with you. They're about like some of these negotiated cattle sellers that keep giving in too early. But whenever the chips start falling, or they start to smell a rat, they're not very impressed with the cattle sellers over the last several weeks here. And if the Packers continue to do what they've been doing, they're not going to be very impressed with them through the time here through March and early April that we should be gaining a lot of ground, and we can't seem to gain as much as what the market really deserves. But when you're heavy with funds, with managed money, and your open interest is big like this, if they start to smell a rat or one of them falls, it could fall like a house of cards, just bang. And you don't want to be on the wrong side of it when it does. But and that'll definitely hurt the cash market when they decide to ride it down, because they not only get in it when they think that the market should be going up, like it should be going up now, they like to ride it down, so they'll compound that by getting in on the downside too. But let's look at your fat cattle deal. We have already seen some sales early this week. We saw some on Monday, we saw some more on Tuesday, and we've seen a deal here and a deal there, and kind of like the ones that took the rug out from the negotiated trade last week, we're seeing some deals with time on them. We're seeing some deals with kickers on them going to be thrown into the formulas, but we're also seeing some straight up negotiated sales. Live basis from 127 to 128.5, dress basis from 203 to 205, and pretty much what I'm telling you is the market's going to be steady unless the board just does a double back flip or something. The market's going to be steady. We've already sold enough deals here and there. And it's kind of like we had a couple 3 weeks ago, whenever your negotiated sellers made a big push for the market to be higher, and then they got put back in their place. Well, that's kind of what's going to happen this week. They're just going to hold their head down and take the steady money and just say yes or so. I would be really surprised if it goes one way or the other from steady. Of course, I'd like to see it get higher for the cattle feeders, but really doubt we'll see that. But just a steady market. Box beef cutout values have gained ground this week. Your choice cuts on Tuesday afternoon, 224.04 up 49 cents. Selects 217.79 up 58. Your slaughters pecking along pretty good this week, even though we've heard some people say that it's not going to be a very big slaughter week. But through Tuesday, 236,000. That's 4,000 more than last week and 2,000 more than the same week a year ago. Let's look at your feeder markets. Just continued light receipts. I tell you what, it has been so bitterly cold, and I think people have just had it. They can't take any more of it. And it was bitterly cold over the weekend, bitter cold early on Monday, and just haven't been able to get many cattle up. And continued light receipts this week, and that's going to back us up a little bit more on some cattle. But you look at your real-time index on Cattle Market Central, 139.05 late on Tuesday. That was down another 33 cents. That's the average for your 800-pound steers up through your middle 12 states, just like your cash feeder cattle index on CME. But what's scary about this is your steer tracker that we put out on Cattle Market Central, that just tracks those same cattle for the last 24 hours. It's sitting at 138.32, so it's even lower yet. So your RTI is a 7-day moving average, and your steer tracker is just the last 24 hours. So that means we're going to fall some more as we get ahead there. And the CME cash feeder index that you see quoted there, it will also fall too, because it's just trailing right behind that RTI. It's just delayed. But let's talk about your feeder cattle markets, your auction markets on Tuesday there. OKC West didn't even have their calf sale on Tuesday. They didn't have many calves in because of the bitter cold over the weekend, and on Monday just not going to have enough, so they're just going to sell them in conjunction with their feeder cattle or yearling sale on Wednesday here, and they are expecting about 4,500 yearling feeders and just short of 1,000 head of calves and stocker cattle. But you look at some other places, Riverton, Wyoming, calves were sharply higher there, and they can't sell calves really high. They did have a sale, not a big one, but had a sale on Tuesday, and the lightweights were sharply higher. Ozarks Regional Stockyards, 2,300 head there at West Plains, and pretty darn good market there. Calves are all classes of calves, and feeder calves, bigger cattle, but they didn't have a lot of true yearlings. But feeder calves and stocker calves steady to $4 higher, with some of those most popular weights of stocker calves selling $5 to $10 higher. Yearlings were not well tested, like I said. But look at this one jag of lightweight steers. 52 head of them weighed 401 pounds there. They were good cattle. And Dan Hill, the market reporter, told me they were all black and the right kind, but 52 head weighed 401 at 214. That's pretty impressive. Also told me they were purchased by a past president of NCBA there, so that's some trivia for you too. But you think that's a wild, crazy price. La Junta, Colorado didn't have a very big sale either, but I did see one package of calves on there. 15 head of steer calves weighed 428 at 221. Now somebody that you've probably listened to in the past, maybe 8 or 9 months ago, projected that this spring sometime you'd see those light steer calves hit $3, and he is rooting for it big time, but he doesn't hold out a lot of prayer, but it does make him feel a little bit better that we are still starting to get into the $2 a ways. But it's like you saw in that inventory report, only 27% of last year's calves were born in the second half of the year. So we're really, really light on stocker cattle this spring. And as much snow and as much moisture as we've had, it is going to be pretty bountiful on your forage grazing, both on grass, graze out wheat, and everything. But going to get pretty wild here, and if this weather would ever turn, I think you'd see it right away, even on your bigger feeder cattle that we're not seeing it on now, because the lots continue to be a mess, and just no break in the feedlots, and everybody's sick of it right now. But if they could get some warm days and start to dry out a little bit and see how bad the mud's going to be, they could start to come around a little bit. Another sale that they did have on Tuesday, Fredonia, Kansas, about 1,600 there. Just an average size sale. It was miserably cold there too. But look at this market report on Cattle Market Central. It's the only place you'll see that market reported. On your popular steer weights, 403 head of 6-weight steers averaged 637 at 155.09. That was about $5 higher on those compared to the sale last week. 308 head of 7-weight steers in Fredonia averaged 766 at 139.86. Now that modest run that they had, 1,100 head of those came in one consignment. So I like to recognize it when we get a big consignment, a long string of cattle, selling them in the auctions because they like the competitive bidding on their cattle. But in that 1,100 head consignment, 280 head of steers Just commodity type steers there in eastern Kansas. 769 pounds, 139.85. That's your market. Another sale that I'll talk about here to finish up with, Unionville, Missouri. Kurt Sporleader called me and I talked to Tracy, the market reporter there, and she gave me a heads up on these cattle. But J.R. Landrum from Shelbina, Missouri, background, some good cattle there. Had 2 loads in Unionville on Tuesday. First load on the light eights, 806 pounds. Bring 147 a load of them, and you think, wow, that was really a great price. Then they brought in the second load, weighed 860 at $147 to go on feed in Illinois, farmer feeder type deal. But that's pretty impressive for the way the market is right now. That's your feeder flash for Wednesday.